Have you ever asked yourself, how do you know when someone no longer loves you? Is silence always a sign that love has ended? Or is there something deeper, quieter, whispering to you truths you haven't yet found the courage to face? Imagine this: you're standing before a crystal clear stream, where water gently flows over each rock, carrying with it stillness and serenity. That's how love once entered your life. Like a sweet, pure, and vibrant current, you believed that flow would carry you in happiness forever. But then one day, you realize the water still flows, but it no longer nourishes your heart. There's no screaming, no dramatic goodbye, just a pair of eyes that now look somewhere else. Words once filled with affection now fall into silence. You're still there, but somehow, they are slowly walking away, one quiet step at a time. No clear sign, no warning, only your heart, feeling the loss long before your mind dares to admit it. In today's reflection, we'll explore 8 silent signs, the deepest expressions of a love that is fading. But we won't stop at a loss. We'll go further. We'll learn how to accept, to release, and how to be reborn through the very pain that tried to break you. Because you deserve a love that is true, not one you must beg for, chase after, or cling to, but a love that allows you to blossom, right from within your own being. 1. A meditative metaphor, the stream and the withering flower. Imagine yourself sitting in a tranquil garden. A soft breeze stirs the air. Sunlight falls quietly onto the petals of a flower beginning to fade. Before you is a bowl of clear water, and beside it, an old monk sits in deep contemplation. He gently dips his hand into the water, then lifts it, letting the drops fall, one by one. Love, he says, doesn't explode like fireworks. It melts away like water leaving your hand, quietly, unnoticed. This is the first meditative metaphor in the story. Just as a flower doesn't weep when its petals fall, someone who no longer loves you won't always declare it with final words. They'll still be there, but it's as if they are no longer present. They won't leave all at once, but they've already begun withdrawing from the smallest places. Carl Jung called this gradual disconnection, a process the soul senses before the mind can name it, when the life of a flower begins to fade. No sound is heard, but if you are still enough, you will feel it, the color growing pale, the petals leaning into the wind, the fragrance beginning to disappear. So too with love, its departure doesn't happen in a single night, but in the little things. A lukewarm hug, an averted gaze, conversations that shrink into silence. If you're waiting for something dramatic to happen, you might miss what truly matters. The moment love begins to slip away, drop by drop, so observe, return to stillness. Don't wait until the flower has fallen to realize it no longer lives. Don't wait until they walk away, to realize they left long ago. 2. The heart senses what the mind denies. There are truths your mind cannot explain, but your heart knows them long before. Have you ever found yourself laughing, talking, even lying next to the person you love, yet feeling utterly empty? That's not imagination, that is your intuition speaking. Carl Jung once said, "Emotions are the voices of the unconscious." When someone begins to leave you in spirit, your soul is the first to know. No proof is needed, no confession, just a quiet, unshakable feeling that something is no longer the same. In an old story, a traveler asks, "How will I know when love is gone, if they're still by my side?" And the wise man replies, "Your heart will know before your mind dares to admit it. When a hug feels forced, when the eyes stop seeking each other, when the silence between two people grows louder than any words, the shift has already begun." But instead of trusting that knowing, most try to deny it. They tell themselves, "Maybe I'm just being too sensitive. Perhaps they're just busy. Things will go back to normal." The greatest mistake is to treat your intuition as a weakness, when in fact, it is the survival instinct of your soul. The advice here is not to act in haste, but to listen with courage. If your heart has been quietly speaking again and again, if you feel like you're living in a dim echo of what once was, then perhaps you don't need more reasons. You only need to accept the truth that has already arrived, softly, but unmistakably. 3. When the eyes and voice begin to change. People can pretend to love with words, but the eyes, they never lie. Carl Jung once said, "The smallest expressions are where the true self reveals itself." When someone no longer loves you, they might still text you good night, still call you, "my love," still take you out for dinner once a week, but their eyes, they've already left. A single gaze holds more truth than any spoken word. Think back to how they once looked at you, as if you were the only person in the world. But then one day, you realize, They no longer see you the same way. Their eyes grow distant, distracted, or simply empty. And it's not just the eyes. The voice, too, is a mirror of the heart. Someone who loves you speaks in a voice that's soft, tender, filled with warmth. But someone who's only staying out of habit, their voice turns flat, mechanical, devoid of emotional rhythm. Love doesn't vanish in lightning bolts. It fades in the quiet disconnection of glances, in indifferent nods, in words repeated like duties, no longer felt. You don't need hard proof to know when love has changed. Just sit in silence, watch how they look at you. Listen to the way they say your name. Your inner being already knows the truth. Learn to sense the subtle signals of affection, rather than wait for everything to fall apart before you admit it. When the voice no longer carries tenderness, when the eyes no longer search for you, that is when love begins to retreat. 4. The unseen goodbye. The presence that feels like absence. There's a kind of goodbye that doesn't come with suitcases or slammed doors. It comes silently while they're still sitting beside you. They still reply to your messages. They still show up for dinner. They still share your bed. But the air between you feels different. It's as if you're speaking to someone underwater. You see them, but the connection is blurred, distant. You keep asking yourself, why does it feel like they're already gone? Carl Jung believed that the unconscious always reveals the truth, even if the conscious mind is still pretending. So even if someone tries to stay physically present, you will feel it in your bones, when their heart has taken a step away. In Tibetan philosophy, they say a soul leaves a room long before the feet follow. And the silence it leaves behind is loud, not the peaceful kind, but the aching kind that echoes even when you're together, when their touch feels colder, when shared laughter becomes forced, when you start feeling lonelier beside them than when you're alone. That is the presence of absence. It's a kind of heartbreak that doesn't scream. It hums softly through the days, until one day, you realize you're mourning something that still pretends to be alive. 5. Why we stay even after love has gone. If the heart knows, if the eyes reveal, if the voice has changed, then why do we still stay? Because the human spirit often fears loss more than it desires truth. We cling, not to what is, but to what once was. Carl Jung wrote, "We are not what happened to us. We are what we choose to become." Yet many people choose to become ghosts in their own relationships, lingering, waiting, hoping that the warmth will return. There's a quote that says, "Sometimes we hold on to love because we're afraid of starting over with someone new. But more often, we're afraid of starting over with ourselves." To accept that someone no longer loves you is to face a deep inner void. Am I still worthy without them? Can I live without what we built? And so we settle for half efforts, for lukewarm love, for routines that mimic affection. But here's the truth. You deserve more than presence without passion, words without meaning, and bodies that lie next to each other like strangers. Jung encouraged people to dive into the shadow, to face what hurts, so that we can transform. Leaving a love that has already left you is not failure, it is an act of courage, of deep self-respect. 6. Grieving the love that still stands in front of you. It's strange, grieving someone who still says good morning, who still tags you in memes, who still remembers your coffee order. But grief is not just for the dead, it is for all that we lose, even if it's still breathing. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." To grieve love while it still sits across the table from you is to feel 1,000 small deaths. Each time they forget the song you used to sing, each time they smile, but the smile doesn't reach their eyes. You'll try to hold on to the little things, the photo memories, the way they once whispered your name, the inside jokes that no longer make them laugh. You may even try harder, cook their favorite meal, wear the shirt they once loved, write them letters in your mind. But grief doesn't respond to effort, it responds to truth. And the truth is this: when love begins to decay, you can't fix it by pretending. You can only honor it by letting it go. There is deep healing in acknowledging this pain, not avoiding it. You are not weak for missing someone who is still here. You are just human. So grieve fully, let your tears speak, and know that in this mourning, you are also making space for the possibility of love that will truly stay. 7. The most honest thing you can say is, "This hurts." You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to explain your pain. You don't have to rationalize why it hurts. You can just say, "This hurts." Carl Jung emphasized the importance of acknowledging the shadow, the hidden emotions we often push away. But here's the thing, what we resist persists. When we say, "I'm fine," When we smile to protect others, when we downplay what we're feeling, we betray ourselves. There is power in admitting, "This is hard, I miss them, I feel lost," not because it changes the situation, but because it changes you. Honesty is the first act of self-love, to look in the mirror and say, "I'm not okay right now, but I still deserve gentleness." Let yourself cry without shame. Let yourself sit in silence without trying to fix it. Let yourself feel, deeply, completely, unapologetically. That is not weakness, that is healing. 8. Learning to let go without hating them. Letting go doesn't have to come with anger. It doesn't have to be loud or final. It can be a quiet choosing to stop trying to make something stay that has already left. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." So when they pull away, when their love fades, when they become someone you don't recognize, it's okay to feel hurt, but you don't have to carry bitterness, because hate is a chain, and healing is the key. Forgiveness doesn't mean they were right. It means you're choosing peace over resentment. It means you can remember the good without clinging to it. You can feel the ache without blaming them for it. You can say, "I loved you deeply, and even though it's over, I wish you well." That is strength. That is grace. That is how you rise. 9. Reclaiming yourself after the loss. After love ends, especially the kind that lingered without life, you're left with questions. Who am I now? What do I do with all this space? Carl Jung believed that loss is not just an end, but a powerful beginning. He said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." This is the time to return to yourself, to do the things you paused, to dream the dreams you buried, to wear the clothes that make you feel like you. You are not broken, you are rediscovering. Take yourself on solo walks. Write letters to your younger self. Dance in your living room at midnight. Laugh, even if it feels strange at first, because the parts of you that were silenced in the relationship deserve a voice again. This is not just recovery, it is rebirth. And you, exactly as you are worth coming home to. 10. When memories return, don't fight them. Some days, grief comes uninvited. A song, a scent, a street corner, and suddenly, you're back in that moment. It's okay, you're not broken for remembering. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Memories surface not to punish you, but to be felt, witnessed, understood. You don't need to rush through them. You don't need to suppress them. Let them rise like waves, wash over you, and pass. Say to yourself, "Yes, this mattered. Yes, I loved. And yes, I am healing." Your ability to feel deeply is not a flaw, it's your superpower. So when a memory knocks, welcome it like an old friend. Then let it go, gently, when it's ready. 11. You are still worthy of love. One of the cruelest lies heartbreak tells you is that you are no longer lovable. But listen, your worth is not determined by someone's ability to stay. Carl Jung taught that individuation, becoming who you truly are, requires shedding the false belief that love must be earned. You don't need to become smaller to be held. You don't need to be quieter to be chosen. The right love will not demand that you shrink. You are worthy as you are, with your softness, your scars, your strength. Love again, not because you need someone, but because you've learned you are whole on your own. And in that wholeness, you can share love without losing yourself. 12. The gentle power of starting over. You don't have to rush. You don't have to have it all figured out. Starting over is not a failure. It's a sacred beginning. Carl Jung reminded us that in all chaos there is a cosmos. In all disorder a secret order. There is beauty in the mess, in not knowing what comes next, in allowing life to unfold without forcing a timeline. Maybe today, you just get out of bed. Maybe tomorrow, you make your favorite coffee. Maybe next week, you laugh at something silly and don't feel guilty for it. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a spiral, returning again and again to old places with new eyes. Give yourself permission to begin again, not like the person you were, but like the person you are becoming. And trust, that is more than enough. According to Carl Jung, every emotional breakdown is not an ending, but a transformation of consciousness. When a relationship leaves your life, it is not to destroy you, it's to awaken you from the illusion and lead you back to face yourself. Jung called this process individuation, a journey of becoming whole, where you stop seeking someone else to fill the emptiness and begin to discover fullness from within. Personally, I believe this. Not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Some people come to love you, but others come to teach you how to love yourself. And once you learn that lesson, you'll stop fearing the loss of others. Because true love was never outside of you. It is the light that has always existed within. Here is the final message I offer you. When someone no longer loves you, you don't need to prove your worth one more time. When the warmth in their gaze fades, you don't need to stay in a role that has already ended. When love walks away, let it go, the way you release a flower into the stream, with gratitude that it once bloomed. If these words resonate with you, I invite you to leave a comment and share your journey. You never know, your story might be the light someone else needs, as they stand between holding on and letting go. And don't forget to subscribe, to continue walking together, through insights into psychology, spirituality, and conscious love. You don't need to hold on to someone to prove that you are worthy of love. You only need to hold on to yourself, and that is enough.